Okay, so now I'm going to talk about graphing a line given its equation in slope-intercept form. So this right here is slope-intercept form, and we call it slope-intercept form because you can easily tell what the slope and the y-intercept are just by looking at it. So m, which is the number that's in front of x, is the slope, and you'll remember that that also equals rise over run, which is the change in y over the change in x. So b, which is the number that's added to x with no variable of its own, is the y-intercept. And the y-intercept is very simply the place where the graph crosses the y-axis. And graphing lines given the equation in slope-intercept form is actually really easy. And the reason is that we can start by plotting the point, the b, the y-intercept, on the graph, and then we can use the slope to find other points on the line. Once you have at least 2 points, you can draw the line. So it's very easy to graph a line if you have its equation in slope-intercept form already. So we go ahead and we start with the b. So let's actually give ourselves an example here. Let's take y equals 2x plus 5. So we can identify here that 2 is the slope, so m equals 2. And then b is the y-intercept, so b equals 5. So the graph crosses the y-axis at 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the graph crosses the axis right here. And you'll notice also that this can be written as a point with the coordinates 0, 5. So there's no movement on the x, but we go up 5. That's the y-intercept. Now that we know that, we know that the line definitely goes through this point. We can use the slope at this time to figure out what other points the line goes through. And then once we have at least 2, we can draw the line. So the slope is 2, which you'll think we need rise over run, right? So we need it to be over something. Well, if it's not over anything, it's really over 1. So, because it's 2 wholes, so we would just make it 2 over 1. So now we can start at this point, start at the point that we already know is on the line, the y-intercept, and then we can go up 2 over 1. Now we're running out of room over here, but we can also go down 2 and to the left 1, which is kind of like doing -2 over -1, but that still equals 2, so that still works. And then once you have at least 2 points, you can go ahead and graph your line. I'm going to use my ruler tool here to try to make it nice. You can use a ruler if you have it, or you can just sketch it. So then I draw the line through those points, and any point on this line, which goes on forever in both directions, indicated by the arrows, any point on this line satisfies the equation y equals 2x plus 5. So let's go ahead and actually do one more example. In this case, I want to do y equals -x minus 3. So right away, you might be looking at this and not know exactly what to do here. So it doesn't actually have a slope, it doesn't have a number in front of x, it just has a negative. You should remember that if there's no number there, it's really a 1. So this is really -1x minus 3. So in this case, the slope is -1, and we can write that as -1 over 1, and then the y-intercept is -3. Which means that the graph goes through 0, -3. So let's go ahead and start by graphing that point. So 0, -3 is right here. And then we're going to do our slope, which is -1 over 1. So instead of going up 1, we're going to go down 1 here. So we're going to go down 1, and then over to the right 1. And down 1 and over to the right 1. Now, if you want to go up, you can go up 1 and over to the left 1. which would be positive 1 over negative 1, and that still equals negative 1. So that gives us the points on our line, and we can graph that nicely like this. And then remember that any points on this line, not just the ones that are graphed in the colors, but any white point on this line, there's infinitely many of them, those all satisfy the equation y equals negative x minus 3.